So I'm super excited today, Amelia, because I'm going to get to introduce you to this amazing woman who I met just a few months ago doing my crazy Goldman Sachs 10,000 small business class. And we really bonded, but I want to tell this really funny story. So I was at the bank yesterday, and Erin, you'll appreciate it because, of course, as part of 10,000 small businesses, you're supposed to put on like your big girl pants and like go have a relationship with your banker, go have a relationship with your attorney.
Sounds like really intimidating.
Super intimidating because you can know your numbers and you can know your stuff, right?
Yeah.
But like to have to go like say hi to like your banker seems like so forced. So anyhow, I did this thing and I was really proud of myself, and I sat down and had this meeting, and we were talking about business, we were talking about the business and London beauty and all this stuff. And then I made some comment about beauty in general, and I mentioned Dry Bar. I kept talking, and then he said, I have to ask you something. He's like, you got to tell me what a dry bar is. And I just laughed because it's like so true. And there are men and women. I don't think it's just exclusive to him, bless his little cotton socks, that he didn't know what Dry Bar was. And of course, I live for Dry Bar because when I used to travel, you know, those days when we could get on a plane and work go places, I would always go to LA and I would land. And one of my first things the next morning would be getting my hair blown out because I have crazy, frizzy, curly hair. Today's weather is not helping. And I could be in LA and my hair would be stunning for like 5 days. I wouldn't have to touch it, not with the little tiny hair dryer in the bathroom, right? The little hotel hair dryer that's like a whisper.
Attached to the wall.
That's like, right? So I could, and my like jankety brush, I could go and get this like beautiful blowout. So it's like my favorite thing in the world, and it feels so luxurious and it feels so great. So I'm telling this banker this story that I'm like, oh, and then I love it. And you get your hair dry. He's like, pauses, you know, the banker pause. And he goes, so women pay to just get their hair dried? There's nothing. I was like, yep, that's it. That's what they do. And he just like, he was having such a hard time with it, which is so funny. I mean, he has, you know, short guy hair, so he can't even comprehend the idea, but he has no idea the lift and confidence and when your hair is really long, the time saver involved in long, thick hair, getting it blown out and being able to not touch it again for a week. So with that said, because I'm like a super fan, I want to hear all about Dry Bar from you, Erin. So Erin owns the Dry Bars here in Detroit Metro. So Ann Arbor, right? And Birmingham. Yep. So tell me a little bit. Well, there's so much about you that I like to talk about. Let's start first with Dry Bar. And so tell me about Dry Bar, and then we're going to talk about all your fun personal bits.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. That sounds great. So as you said, I own the Dry Bar franchise here in Detroit, Birmingham, Ann Arbor, hopefully more to come. It's the best. It's so fun. We're coming up on our 3-year anniversary in Birmingham. We opened just ahead of closing for the pandemic in Ann Arbor. So that's been just a little bit of a challenge. But we're starting to see, it's awesome because we're starting to see people come back and start to go out. And like now that like everybody's getting vaccinated and people are more comfortable, like it's been a really nice return. We're starting to see really great recovery there. So that's been fantastic. I was laughing when you were telling your Dry Bar story because I spend so much of my time telling people what Dry Bar is. Yeah. And truly it's a salon that does no cuts, no colors, just blowouts. And there's one woman that you can tell it to who's like immediately is like, light bulb, brilliant. This is amazing. I need this in my life. And then you say this same thing to a man and you get blank stare. Yeah. Head 100%. Scratch. Why would I go to a Dry Bar? You don't have alcohol? Like, and so I have this conversation over and over. And it's funny because it is that same thing. So they pay for this? Right. So when I'm talking to Tom, the banker, I say, Tom, you're married? He goes, yeah. You got kids? Yeah. I said, let's talk about your wife for a minute. I go, she have long hair when you get married? He goes, oh yeah. I was like, real hot, real long hair, like really pretty, beautiful hair, right? And he was like, yeah. It's like, and then you had kids? And it was in a ponytail for 2 years? Yeah. He goes, yeah. And I go, and then she cut it? And he was like, Yeah. Like dry bar is what keeps her from cutting her hair. Like,
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
That is the natural progression because like you suddenly don't have the time and you're prioritizing different things. And like it takes me an hour in my bathroom standing there sweating, like all of the things drying my hair. I try and do it as least often as possible because it's miserable. Yeah. I hate doing it. And luckily there are many, many, many other women who feel the same way that I do.
When I lived in New York, I had a powerful hair dryer because my hair was thick and longer. And I literally would be sweating buckets because the air conditioners in the apartments I lived in New York were all window or wall throughs. They weren't like, you didn't have central air. So I'd be in my bathroom, which was in the back side of my apartment.
Always.
Connected to probably my neighbor's bathroom. So everybody's was in the middle usually. And I'd get my hair dried, but I'd be sweating. So my underbits would already be curly by the time I got my top bits
Or
done.
you could just do what I do and not blow dry my hair at all because I like don't want to have to. And I don't know how to, really.
Well,
it's
so
part of it.
That's the other thing too, right? Like I am a hairstylist by trade. Like I can put in the work and it's going to look great, but I'm not willing to put in the work. I would say like the average woman still takes the time and puts in the effort, but it doesn't look that good because it's hard. It's that same thing. Like it's sweaty before it's dry. Like if your hair is curly, now it's curled up again underneath. Like by the time you get to the back, your arms are so tired because they've spent 20 minutes above your head that like you're just not going to deal with that because you can't see it anyway. Like those are all of the things that Dry Bar solves, and it does it really efficiently. It does it really affordably. And like most of all, we produce results that really last.
They do really last 100%.
I even when I do my own hair, I know that I can get like 2 or 3 days of it looking really good. Like I go to our stylist at Dry Bar and I get a great blowout. I can make it last for 2 weeks. And that's working out. That's being like outside for my kids' sports. That's like doing all the things. I do a little bit of maintenance every morning. You know, maybe I'm like putting it up when I go to sleep or whatever, but I can extend that for a long time.
Yeah, and it's kind of cost saving. I would like to point out that Amelia's hair is Dry Bar colored.
It is.
It is. It is my favorite color.
I did it just for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We've been talking about her yellow hair, and it just dawned on me. She does, but it just dawned on me that sunshine yellow is the Dry Bar yellow.
Dry Bar. You would get high praise in my shops walking in with that hair.
I know it totally is, but it's true, man. And so like it's $40, right?
45.
So for $45, I remember when it was 35.
35, I know.
So that just dated me to like early
New
Dry
York
Bar.
is 49 now.
Oh, is it? Okay.
yeah.
There was one down the street from
Inflation.
my office, which was like kicking. But the price, like for $40, and you don't have to deal with your hair at all for a week, maybe more. It's sweet. And no keratin, no, like you, like with my curly hair, I could get a week unless it rained on me.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's
If you
the
actually get it wet.
Right. Like if I got rained on, then it would be different. But like for $40, that was like a win in my book. I was like, psh.
Well, and we even
Awesome.
solved for that. It is pouring rain today, but we send every client out with an umbrella.
Right. Oh, right. Your cute little yellow umbrellas.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's so awesome. So I love the concept. And I know, Amelia, you've never been, but we're going to have to get you there.
Yeah.
And, maybe we'll do Girls' Day and go down to Ann Arbor.
There
and,
may or may not be little gift cards in your bag, so you should come in.
I'm very excited. So we should do an adventure because there's also next to your Ann Arbor location, you have Mighty Good Coffee.
Ooh, I love Mighty Good.
And my other favorite store, Anthropology, which is like my kryptonite. If I go in, I mean, I go in and
So now it's a full day.
it's a full day. Oh, and Paper Store, the Paper Store.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Paper Sources
Yeah.
right there. It's a good little.
It is a good little nook.
You can spend some solid time. in
You
that
can,
store.
you can. It's such a great location. And where are you in Birmingham? I know,
So
but I
in
can't
Birmingham,
remember.
we are right downtown. We're across the street from Dick O'Dow's, right on Maple, like in
Oh,
the
yeah.
heart of
yeah.
downtown Birmingham.
Right on Maple, right? Oh, that's so awesome. So you opened when London Beauty opened, basically, because we're just 3 years old this summer. So it was crazy because we all had to shut down. And we were just talking with our colleagues in our last podcast at The Good Fat Life that I think for the first like month or couple of weeks of, quarantine, we all thought, woohoo, sweatpants, ponytails.
Tie-dye sweatpants.
Oh, yeah.
So much tie-dye.
Baking a cake every day.
Every day.
How about the people that made sourdough bread?
Oh, like the
Those
bread.
are the real crazies.
Those are the real crazies. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't doing, although I did attempt croissants the other day. I'm not going to lie.
I did
that
the
was my
sourdough thing for a
Did
while.
you?
Yeah, it was delicious.
Yeah.
And then I would even make sourdough pancakes. And
Okay, well, I'm not
waffles.
calling you crazy. I'm sorry.
No,
But
no,
it's commitment.
It is
It is
so
a commitment
good.
that
It
you
is a
could not
real
stick
commitment.
to
Yeah.
in a normal
world.
life.
My
No.
starter shortly died after the real world kind of opened up
I
again.
love that you had a starter.
I did. I was really excited about it.
A little.
It's like having a baby. You have to nurture it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have
And
to
then,
keep it.
Well, it started because something happened where you're not supposed to refrigerate it after it has to feed itself, whatever. And it got put in the fridge by accident by somebody.
was
And
killed?
I genuinely cried. I was so upset.
It's murder.
They were like, I didn't really think anything about it. It's not that big of a deal. I was like, no,
That's the
that
baby.
was my starter.
That's murder. That's bread murder.
It really was.
Well, I think everyone did these crazy things, right? I started playing Red Dead Redemption. I've talked about it in multiple podcasts because I was like, we all had to go find things that made our brains turn off, right? And then we went down the rabbit holes of well, I don't have to go to work and I don't have to put on makeup and I don't have to do. But then I think we all were like, but I miss my lipstick.
I didn't do any of that.
No.
Really?
I was in full panic the entire time I have 50 people who I just told they don't have a job.
Well, right.
And I don't know how long they don't have a job for, and how are we going to fund this? And there's so much on the line.
Yeah.
And I do wish that I sort of had the luxury of let's just chill for a while. And I didn't feel that until it was time to go back. And when we didn't know when we were going to go back. We didn't know how much notice we were going to have to go back.
Your
And we
industry
didn't-
was really tricky because we at least had a
Yes.
kind of clearer path because we
Yes.
could just open with retail and we had to abide by all the crazy rules.
And then we
Right.
had obviously weird rules when it came to application and stuff
Yes.
like that.
Right.
But my whole world is those weird
Yeah.
rules. So because we're run by the Board of Cosmetology, it was we couldn't open when other things did, so then we didn't know how long it was going to be
Right.
and what the restrictions were. Am I going to be able to use every chair, or am I going to be able
Every
to
other.
use every other, or are we going to be at an actual capacity restriction where some states could only have 25% of their capacity?
Oh, right.
And my capacity in one of my shops is 17 people, so I can only have 4 clients at a time. Kind of figuring out all that stuff. So
Yeah,
that was
super
really,
complicated.
it was really tricky. It was really complicated. And then I think by the time I was okay, we're just gonna have to wait. We're just gonna have to figure it out. My husband and I watched one show all of quarantine. Everybody was we're binging.
Yeah.
We watched one season of one show.
We watched one season of one show.
I also have 4 children who
Right.
were home with me.
Right.
So,
So,
that was,
that's a whole.
that was a lot. And then, and no childcare, and we were both
Right.
working and trying to figure
trying to
all this stuff
figure it out. Yeah.
And so it was just I feel I had a different experience than I was not baking bread.
I was not baking.
You were not crying
watching
over a
Netflix.
starter.
No.
I was not baking bread. I was not doing any of those things.
a lot of our clients were in that mode. I mean, I had some clients were home working and working from home and balancing that, but a lot of them, I think, were having this moment, even if they were working from home, where they were oh, I don't have to put as much effort in. I can chill out. And at first, that seemed really fun, right? You didn't have to blow out your hair. You didn't, because Zoom hadn't really been figured out right at the beginning either. So it was a lot of calls and stuff, but you didn't have to be visual. And
I did not put a blow dryer in my hair for 3 months, though.
Yeah.
And that was phenomenal.
right?
Yes.
And so I think people I was kind of in the same zone as you. That's why I think I went to video games because it was the only thing that I could do that would shut my brain off, right? I had to find things that would stop the spiral.
I have this problem in my life that I don't talk about very often. Now I'm going to talk about it on podcasts. When I start to spiral, really, really in bed 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Cannot stop my brain from moving. I play Candy Crush on my phone.
Oh no.
And it is a real problem.
Yeah.
To the point where I have like, I've removed it. Like
Oh,
I've taken
really?
the app off my phone. I've like gone through and I've like done things so that all progress is lost.
Oh,
like,
right.
and
You have
then
to start over.
I'll put it back on and I have to start over and then I catch back up to where I was. And like there was like sort of recently because we were going through this Goldman Sachs class and it's such a huge commitment and whatever. It was like in the wee hours and my husband like woke up in the night and he was like, "You're playing Candy Crush. What is going on?" I was like, I have some things I'm working through. He was like, "We got to talk about this. You are playing Candy Crush again." I was like,
Oh, I know it's like an addiction, right? So I did that with Red Dead Redemption. Amelia knows this. And then when we started back to work, I hadn't quite finished the storyline. And so then because the storyline, I was in like, so I had to play the storyline. And I like fell in love with the guy in it that I was playing, like my own character. I'm like falling in love with my own character. And so her brother played it. So he would come in and then I would sit there and I'd be like, okay, so I'm in the thing with the guy.
What do I do now?
What do I do?
Do I do this road or do I do this thing?
And so then he like broke it down for me. He's like, make sure you do this so that you get the good ending. So whatever. So I went through that. So I did finally step away because it ended.
Yeah.
Like there was a
But you
natural
only
end.
stepped away because it ended.
Yes, I did only step away because it ended. And then I did play it one more time through just for kicks to like see, like do it without as much anxiety or whatever. But it was amazing. I think we like had to find those things. But the thing we're finding now is that women are so ready to dress up.
Yeah.
Like maybe not like full board, but like they want lipstick. They want their hair done. They want to put on their high heels. They want to be dressed.
yes.
Because I mean, as nice as it was, we enjoy it.
Well, and also we spend so much time online shopping throughout the entire
Yeah.
thing. So now we have so many clothes that we have to wear.
Well, so I did do that. That I am very guilty of. But it was funny because I was just like, all I bought was tie-dye sweatpants and like the matching sweatsuits and like all of it. Like I was like, and then I had to go back to work. And I was like, I don't have any clothes.
You have tie-dye sweatpants.
I have a lot of tie-dye sweatpants. That is it. And so also, I only started working a grown-up job 3 years ago when I opened Dry Bar. My life prior to that was very, very different. So
all your kids are like back to back, right?
all my kids are back to back. So everybody has summer-ish birthdays. So I have one that's about to be 6, one that's about to be 5, one that's about to be 3, and one that's about to be 2. So I have essentially been pregnant or just had a baby for my entire career. And now coming back from quarantine, it's like, all right, I got a 1-year-old and no clothes to wear to work.
Yeah.
And a lot of matching sets that I can't wear to work.
Did you get a yellow tie-dye at least? So that
Of course. Obviously. That was my
Clearly.
first tie-dye that I bought.
It's yellow tie-dye.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. No, that's true because your kids are like really back to back. So you are the like quintessential working mom.
Yeah.
So you understand this whole like beauty dilemma.
Yes.
And I think like one of the things we circle around constantly is what makes us feel beautiful. Yeah. And I think I know, well, when you first did your hair yellow, you were really like,
Yeah.
because she did the bright, and it was really bright with like hot pink, and it was cute.
No, it was not. She's just being really nice. I hated it the entire time. I hated it.
She did.
You didn't hate it enough to change it.
I mean, I made an appointment as soon as I could. This is my also thing. I don't have a stylist that I go to regularly.
Oh.
Because I've never found like a stylist where I'm like, oh, I love it.
That's funny. I know a lot of stylists.
Oh, well, really? Okay.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, 20 or 30 of them.
I just happened to know people. Well, we were bad during quarantine because we did. Are you familiar with Bleach London? So we would joint order. To save on the shipping.
Right.
Of course.
Right.
You know,
It would be like $400 worth of hair colors.
Hair stuff, like all the colors, all the things. And then they released some scissors that Amelia had to have that are like holographic. Now they have a balayage kit that you just...
Yeah, so you can do your own balayage at home.
Oh, how was that going for you?
I don't know. I didn't buy it. I'm not buying that one. I'm saying no.
She's putting a stop to it. So it's kind. I mean, they're like the color version of Dry Bar in the sense that like everything's super branded.
Yeah.
Everything like you know what you're getting the minute you like open your package.
Yep.
It's designed to work at home, but you can also go. I was in London 2.5 years ago, and I was only there for like 3 or 4 days, but man, I really wanted to go to bleach the salon. I like really wanted, but I was like, I'm not wasting the time.
Yeah, like, do I want to spend 5 hours of my trip getting some
crazy hair color done? But you can order it and you can do it yourself, and it is fairly temporary, so you don't feel like you've completely destroyed your hair.
Yeah,
so you're not. It's not like going to Sally's.
This is not Bleach London.
No,
and that's where I went wrong.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
This is a huge shout out to Bleach London. But it was our kryptonite during quarantine because you couldn't get your hair colored.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden we can actually get our hair done, which is a very nice thing. I'm not going to lie. So I'm super excited you guys are back open.
Yes.
Now, are you at full capacity?
So the restrictions in Michigan are that you need to be 6 feet apart or with some sort of a protective barrier. So in one of my shops, we have dividers in between stations where we can't have, like, as long as we're social distanced, we're cool. And so we have these, like, we're actually getting new ones. They should be shipping to my house as we speak.
Ooh.
I think they're being delivered. So I'm going to go grab those when I leave here and install them, but they're going to hang from the ceiling. I'm very excited about them.
That's nice.
We've had some that are in big stands on the floor. And
Yeah.
They get bumped and like it can be, they tip. It's like dominoes.
Yeah. That
Gets a little
sense.
sticky. So there, we have dividers between stations. We still, even with the dividers, we really do use every other, because our stations are about 4.5 feet apart.
Mm-hmm.
So we could kind of spread them out, but it's easier to use every other. We don't have the staff to be using 12 chairs at a time either.
Right.
And then in our Ann Arbor shop, it's massive. So we're able to actually really, really spread out there.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's been nice.
So Ann Arbor opened after.
Yep. Ann Arbor opened New Year's Eve of 2019. So 10 weeks before we closed.
Oh my gosh, so insane. Yeah. So all your team is back? Is everyone back? Pretty much.
Yes, no. So we couldn't have brought back everybody. There was like with the limits that we had, we went from being so busy to like not even having enough work for everybody. So that was really difficult. There were also people who, a lot of our stylists work part-time and they work in a full service or they rent their own studio. And those people were like, when people could finally get their hair colored again, they were so lights out busy at their other job that they were like, I got to just focus there. I got to be there full time. So that was like a good transition point for a lot of our stylists to sort of move up, which is something that we really encourage. Like we want to help you build your clientele over there so that you can really like get some legs in your career and jump off and get started. So that was really great to see a lot of people just like really like their career taking off in all of this.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice. We had people who left the industry altogether. Like they just, it's a time where you figure out things about your life, what you want, what you don't want.
Yeah.
We had people who came back and obviously like we were much, much slower. Like we opened and nobody had anywhere to go. Yeah. Like, like what are you getting your hair done for if not just for yourself at that point?
Yeah.
And in Birmingham, it was better. We had a really loyal clientele and women who were just used to getting their hair done. And so that was something they really wanted back as soon as they could have it. In Ann Arbor, we hadn't built that rapport with our clients yet.
Yeah.
Like they don't even know that they should get their hair done all the time. And so it was much slower there. So we had people who came back and were like,
well, and the universities weren't back either.
Yeah,
so like,
schools were out.
So like all those girls at U of M from California and LA or in New York and who know Dry Bar, who would come to Dry Bar, weren't even
not
in town.
There. Yeah. So it was a really, really different landscape. Like it wasn't the same as a lot of like, I think like with retail, it's like, okay, we're closed, now we're open. It's sort of like business as usual. Like we were hit in a whole different way because what are you getting ready for? Like people are like, oh, you own a salon. Like this must be amazing. I'm like, yeah, but I don't cut and color hair.
Right.
And like, you just use us to get ready to go do your other stuff. And nobody's doing the other stuff.
Nobody's doing the other stuff. Right.
So that was difficult. And then there also was this point too of the expectation is higher. Mm-hmm. If somebody's taking their time to go out in the world in a way that they might not be comfortable with in the same way that they were before. Like I make a lot of promise when you walk into my door. And part of that is that this better be the best blowout you've ever had.
Yeah.
And so much of our experience was taken away with COVID restrictions. We don't serve champagnes. We don't have the little cookies at the front desk. Like we don't even have... We've found a workaround for it now because we have ones that can be sanitized regularly. But like, we couldn't even hand you our lookbook, like the menu of looks that you choose from.
Yeah.
It's like, we have a QR code that you pull up on your phone. And like, it's this whole weird, like when you go to a restaurant, the menu is on a QR code. Like, like all these weird things that had really taken away from our experience, we had to make up for it by even better customer service, even better technical skill, like a blowout that lasts even 2 days longer than it did before. So there were also just some stylists that like we knew couldn't make that cut.
Couldn't
and
do
like it was good when we were like so busy in 2019 and we just like it was like you're a warm body that we can teach how to hold a hairbrush. Like, okay, let's go. Like we have the resources to like develop and train you and like we can really, really work on this with you. And like in this world where I have, you
need someone who's got the touch.
Yeah.
Like both technically and we find that we were just talking about that, like the kindness quotient is so important right now because people need you to be a little gentler with them.
Yeah.
Like it's just, they want the experience. They want to connect. Like we've all been shopping on Amazon and online and this, that, and the other. And so to have a real person in front of you helping you and doing something with you feels
well. And like think about it, like you think about like now that we're like at like things with more people and you kind of I should probably not be saying this in real life, but like you walk into the party and it's like, are we hugging? I haven't seen you in a year. Are we hugging? We're hugging. Okay, we're hugging.
Yeah, right.
Like that kind of stuff. Like I think that this is for what we do. There are very few fields where you physically touch people.
Yeah.
And we're one of them. And like, aside from, the people in your family, like who has touched you in the last 18 months? Like a scalp massage becomes something so much more than a scalp massage when you're like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Well, have it like human touch, like Amelia went through esthetician school and I know isn't one of the things they teach you like hand on the body.
Constantly touching them. Yeah. Like you should never break that like sensation away. Partly just because like their eyes are closed and that's going to be freaky.
They need to know where you are.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like something I don't even know how.
But that's it. The minute you pull away is to signify that the service is
done.
over.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
yeah, it's subtle things like that. I hadn't even thought about the touch component, but you're right. Like, because we touch people and, it's a lot easier for us because you can kind of gauge the person, right?
Yeah.
And see what their level of comfort is, and we can all be masked, and it's like pretty socially distanced in that sense. But yeah, I mean, it's something to be touched if you haven't been touched in a long time, right? Or hug people that you haven't hugged in a long time. So
we do not hug people at work, for the record.
Oh, no. But families are hugging for the first time, which is like, so the only person people were hugging and touching were their like immediate like household.
People in the household,
Yeah, so now it's spreading out like that they can touch more people as they get vaccinated. But it has been such an odd time. But you're from Michigan, right?
I'm not from Michigan.
No, where are you from?
I'm married to Michigan.
Oh, you married to Michigan?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. I've lived 1,000 lives. I'm from sort of all over, but I pre-high school moved just outside of Milwaukee. My stepfather took a job there. Our family moved there, and I went to high school there. Went to beauty school right after high school, and then I stayed there for another 12 years or so. I did hair in Milwaukee, worked in quite a few salons there, some big ones, some small ones, worked for myself for a little bit, and just had a great experience there. When I met my husband, He was in town for a wedding. Long story, but we met while he was in town. We started dating long distance. He was playing hockey at the time. He played in the NHL for 10 years, and we dated long distance for a bit. Eventually, I moved with him, and then we were, again, kind of all over. We ended up, he was in Calgary when we first started dating, and then we were in Phoenix for a while, always coming back here for the summer, spending our summers in Michigan. He grew up here. He went to Catholic Central High School. He went to the University of Michigan, played there 4 years. His family is huge and they're all here. So it was like a no-brainer that this is where we were going to end up. So he played almost a decade, and then we did another year overseas. So we were in Switzerland for a year. And then we went to Switzerland with a 3-month-old. We came back from Switzerland with an older baby and another one on the way, and went, maybe it's time we start our life now.
Right.
That was when we kind of got into what's the next step? And for us, the next step was Dry Bar.
Wow. Amazing. I didn't know it was that close to you coming back full time. Wow. Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you have lived 1,000 lives, and there are some fun stories in there of things you've done.
I mean, I haven't done anything that crazy. I did hair for a long time. I don't know, I kind of bopped around. I lived in a few cities for a while. I lived in a jungle for 39 days with 17 other people. I stayed there until the very almost bitter end, but didn't win.
What episode was that? Which one? What season?
I was on Survivor Tocantins, the Brazilian Highlands. It was season 18. It was about, long time ago. I always say, it's about 10 years ago, but it's more than 10 years ago now.
Well, it couldn't have been, because you would have merely been a wisp of a person.
That's true. I was 3.
You were just a child. So clearly, I do this with Amelia all the time.
I was a child.
We're like sisters. Right?
Sort of.
Kinda, yeah.
No, I was in my mid to late 20s when I did it. And I was solidly in my mid 20s.
Solidly, maybe early.
Yeah, I wish. I'm still in my early 20s. I don't know.
Please.
But it was a randomly good time in my life to go disappear to a jungle, and so
How did you decide to do it? It's from being a hairstylist to just
So I didn't. I lived in Louisville, Kentucky, because again, lived 1,000 lives.
Right.
I was with some friends the day after the Derby at an outdoor cafe having dinner, and this girl walked up to me and just said, "Hey, I don't want to be weird or anything, but I have been sitting a few tables over and just eavesdropping, and I think you're pretty and you're funny, and I think you'd be great on TV." And I was like, "Well, obviously, put me on The Bachelor." And she was like, "Yeah, I don't do that."
Yeah, I'm not the Bachelor person.
Yeah, but we talked for a while, and she was like, "I work for Survivor, and I work with a couple other shows as well. And is there is that a thing that you would do?" And I was like, "No, absolutely not." And she was like, "Well, have you seen the show? How do you know you wouldn't do it?" And I was like, "It is my parents' favorite show. I've seen every episode, and I know I wouldn't do it." She was like, "Okay, you've seen every episode. Tell me one thing you can't do." And I was like,
Survive without my hair dryer.
Well, she was like, "No, seriously, tell me something that you've seen that you couldn't do." And I was like, "I won't eat weird stuff. I can't do that. I will throw up." She goes, "Well, I mean, you'd throw up, but you could do it." And I was like, "Well, yeah." She was like, "Okay, well, here's my number. Let me get your info, and we'll make this happen." And so we did. I still had to make a video and apply and go and audition and do all of the things, but I did, and they liked me, and I liked the idea. And it turns out I am a very good little survivor, and in fact, a total badass. So I got 3rd place. I was the last woman standing. I made it to all but the very last day, and I am still convinced, if given the chance to be at the end, sitting in the final 2,
You would have done it.
I would have had a chance.
That's so funny.
But I mean, it all worked out. All of these things led to me eventually meeting my husband and whatever.
Right.
And if I had won, that wouldn't have happened.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
so awesome.
Yes.
So you're a survivor and you
Yep.
can like,
I do have a question because
Oh.
Survivor was always my parents' show too.
Yes.
So I've seen so many seasons. Their teeth are always so white.
So I got there, and like on day 2, we're all like standing in the water, like just like chatting, and I was like, okay, seriously, like we all have such white teeth. Obviously, you get your teeth whitened right before you go.
Okay. I guess
These are
but
you're vain enough to go be on television.
Okay.
And you know you're not gonna like have anything with you for a long time.
No, but
so like
I'm
you're
always-
like full body waxing, like your hair is like done the day before you leave, so you don't
That's
have roots.
true.
Like I mean, think about like when you are getting ready to go on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to go be on a beach in my underwear
39
for
days.
39 days. On primetime television, and HD is a real new thing. Like a real new
Yeah.
thing. And this was when it was still on Thursdays, and like people really watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there was a lot of preparation involved. As much face, hair, body prep as you would have for like The Bachelor.
yeah, that makes total sense because
It actually
I wore a
does
lot
like
less
thinking
clothes than
about
those
it.
girls.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
I always just would like my family. We were always convinced that like you guys just like had other stuff off the screen.
No. Well, also like, what's gonna make your teeth not white? You don't have any food. You're not drinking coffee.
That's true. You're
like,
eating rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't stain your
eating
teeth.
So on one of our podcasts, a friend of mine who's an actress was on, and she was talking about HD. We got going about HD because actually Kendra Scott, not Kendra Scott, oh my gosh, Era Tillier.
It's Kendra.
We said Richards. Thank you. Oh my gosh. So I know we said Kendra Scott earlier. So Kendra Richards, who's a makeup artist in LA and deals with people, on TV and stuff. And she said that,
That's the other thing on Survivor. You don't wear makeup.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so she was saying like,
So you better have like
you have to
gotten a good
dial it,
facial.
yeah, and you have to dial it back in HD because if you put too much on, it gets really cakey. And so she was saying when HD first came out, she felt really badly for some of the makeup artists and the clients because everyone was trying to figure out like how do you do makeup?
Yep.
Because the old days it was like the more the better.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't see the texture.
Yeah.
But then high def, you see everything.
Yeah, and it becomes like so around that same time, I had a lot of clients, like I worked in a smaller city, so I had a lot of clients who were in the news. And it was like that same thing of like, they would like a full face was a full face. And then like you're figuring it out. And like now, like TV makeup is what you and I would want to have to sit across the table from each other. 'Cause
Yeah.
it gets picked up so much different.
Yeah, it does. And that was the friend of mine who's an actress was saying, as her career hit its stride when she hit her like 40s. And she knew she was never the ingenue. She knew she was always the sassy best friend, the crazy aunt, the whatever. But she said, I had to get so comfortable. And she goes, I think by the time I was entering that part of my life, I had gotten comfortable in my own skin. I wasn't 20 anymore and worried about it all. She's like, they just have to be comfortable with all this. Yes. And, she's like, the wrinkles, the double chin, the whatever, like, it's going to be there. And I just need to be still.
Yep.
And it's going to pick it up.
That is a hard thing. I'm like in that phase right now where I have a semi-large birthday coming up this year. And it is like a weird thing to think about because like if I see like a group of people out celebrating a 40th birthday, like I look at them, I'm like, they're so old. Like, look at those old people over there. And then like I'm out with my friends celebrating a 40th birthday and I'm like, we're so young and cool.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
No, I just did this with Amelia. Remember I sent you that picture?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
So I was scrolling through my Facebook and I saw this picture. I was like, who are those people? I don't know these people. So I look at the caption and I did know them. And I was like, dang, like, no. So I went into the store and I was like, Amelia, you have to be honest with me. Do I look
like these people?
Do I look as old as these people? Like, do I look like I'm the same within 5 years of these people? It was terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is, and I told Amelia this, I remember my mother in her 70s saying the same thing, that she would go to certain things or like reunions or whatever meetings, and she'd think, huh, all these people look really old.
Yep.
And she said it was such a weird thing. And she remembered the weirdest one was, I forget what age she remembered it happening. She's like, all of a sudden I went to some reunion or something and all the men had lost their hair.
Yeah.
And she was like, huh.
Yeah.
We're here. Okay. So this is where we are.
How old we are.
So
now.
I had that
Yeah.
moment not that long ago when we were talking about my oldest son is in like junior kindergarten.
Okay. Yeah.
So this was a year ago.
Okay.
My husband was like at the school, like dad's club meeting.
Right.
And he was like, he's texting me and he's like, hey, like this guy, like what is his daughter's name? And I like didn't register the name.
Right.
And so he's like telling me, he's like, no, like whatever, he's describing him. And I go, oh, old dad? And he goes, old dad? And I go, yeah, he's like way older than us. He goes, yeah, he graduated a year ahead of me in high school. I was like, oh, okay. And then I also I live in this weird world where like my team is really young. Like my stylists are like average, like 23 to 26.
Yeah.
And even like the women on my leadership team are 29 and 32. So there's this big gap between like me and everybody
Right.
else. And so like it is sort of this like I'm around them all the time. So I'm like young and hip and cool, kind of. But they're still like rolling their eyes because I'm like the weird old lady in the room.
God, it's so funny. This good friend of mine, she is, I want to say in her 70s. Whatever. But
She's old enough that like you have no idea how old she is.
Yeah, she's old enough.
love
I have
that.
no idea.
Yeah.
But she's super chic. And I met her in New York. We were on a board together. And she goes to a lot of galas and stuff because she donates to like jazz at Lincoln Center, things like this. So she goes to some of the stuff and whatever. And she goes, I was at this event. She was telling me this whole story and she was talking to this young woman and she was like, she was so fascinating. And my friend is fascinating. That's why we're friends. Like I was obsessed with her, like girl crushing on her when we met. Cause I was like, you're so interesting. Right. I mean, she was the generation that like kicked down the door with Gloria Steinem. Gloria Steinem kicked down the door and she was like bustling in after and had a job in government. And like, she's cool, super cool. Hippie, my favorite story. I've told Amelia this story.
This is like one of my favorite things
The
ever.
best story
and I want
ever.
this to be my life, kind of.
I know, right? So she married her first husband because they were driving around in a van in a band performing Jesus Christ Superstar, that musical, right?
Yeah.
And her husband
Perfectly normal.
played Jesus in the band in Jesus Christ Superstar as they travel around in their hippie van.
Yeah.
And they ended up getting a divorce because he was cheating on her with Mary Magdalene.
Oh.
Is that the best cocktail story ever? That you can say, my husband was cheating on me with Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
It's like the best, it's truly like the best cocktail story ever. So anyhow, that's when I fell in love with her.
Yeah.
So she went to this gala and she said, I was standing talking to this young woman and I mean, probably a 25 to 30-year-old woman. And she said, oh, she was so with it. And we were talking about all this stuff. And I was so intrigued by her. And we were having this great conversation. And I was thinking, oh, like it'd be so great to stay in touch with her. And we like parted, cocktail, whatever. And they went separately. And then she said, I stood there and I realized, was she talking to me like I was the old lady?
Yeah.
Right. She had that moment. And because she realized like she'd like taken up a lot of this person's time because she was so like having such a great convo. And she felt like as I was talking to her, I felt very much like I was a contemporary. I wasn't thinking about the fact that like she's probably younger than my daughter.
Yeah.
And she said, as she walked away, and I was thinking, wow, that was a great contact. Like, how great to meet this person. And then she was like, oh my gosh, she probably thought she's indulging. I'm talking to the old. And I was like, no way. Like, there's no way. I was like, I hang out with you, and like, I don't ever think about anything. And I was like, I don't think she thinks about age, so I don't think about it. And so I know I fall into it with Amelia. I like never think about it, even though like we're a generation apart. And Amelia may be like, yeah, I'm indulging the older woman.
No.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, when you spend time and you're not thinking about age. So it was funny when I was scrolling through my Facebook and I was like, really? Yeah.
And you were even like, do I dress like that?
I don't dress like that, right?
Oh, I do cool checks.
Yeah,
Like,
you have
like,
to.
So like I do like okay guys, I bought these shoes. Like they're cool, right? And they'll be like, yeah, those are awesome. I'm like, but like for me.
Right.
Like, am I trying too hard? Can I
Right.
wear these?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, like I part my hair in the middle. I have my mom jeans on.
Right.
Let's talk about mom jeans for a minute.
I hate them.
Well, here's the thing about them. They like probably are not like the best thing for my general pear-shapedness, but also they're so comfortable.
They are really comfy. They are really, really comfy.
And they're like cute if you wear like fancy shoes. They look
Yeah.
terrible
That's
if you wear
true.
sneakers.
They're
That's
not
true.
always great for your butt.
Yeah,
That
no.
is
See,
a
that's
problem.
my like biggest issue with them.
Yeah.
And
I do have a really super cute girl that works my front desk.
Yeah.
And she walked in a couple weeks ago, like in like a sort of like frilly cropped top shirt and some mom jeans that were straight up like relaxed, possibly even actual vintage jeans and a pair of Keds and her hair up in a scrunchie. And I was like, okay, I can't not say anything here because you are actually like a legitimately hot 27-year-old. And right now you look like my mom did in 1993.
I know.
And it's not hot.
crazy. And it's
Not one
hot.
see, that's how I feel like I look when I actually wear mom jeans. I feel like I just look like no matter what I'm actually wearing or how my hair is styled or what my makeup looks like, I just feel like I look frumpy.
Well, so I always reference my time in New York because it was an enormous chunk of my life. But I went to this hair salon that was in Brooklyn in Williamsburg, and the girls there are super cute and all really nice. And I went when I was there for one of the trade shows just recently and had my hair done, and not recently, but in the past,
Yeah. Well,
4
the
years,
last 14
time I
months
could,
hasn't
right?
happened.
Yeah, exactly. And so I went in, and they've redone the salon. It's really great, and I got a different girl to cut my hair because the owner was pregnant, who I adore, and it's called Kinlock Salon in Williamsburg, and I had this girl do my hair, and I can't remember. I want to say it's like Lorna or something. She had a really cool name, of course, because she's in Williamsburg. Yeah. And she had this cute little bobbed cut, and she was in a fitted tee, but like a beefy tee, but like a fitted tee and Carhartt pants, like workman, tradesman pants. 2 sizes too big.
Wear those.
She looked, and then these like cute little sneaker shoes, and then belted, and they were those like heavy gauge, like worker pants, and they were. I think they probably were Carhartt because Brooklynites wear them ironically, and I thought, dang, that is so cute. If I tried to do that,
You would look like a man going to the factory.
I would look like a man going to the factory.
That's what I would look like in that.
I would look ridiculous. First of all, because they have no stretch and I have thighs.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't wear pants.
So you'd
that
have
don't
to go
stretch.
up like 7 sizes, and then the waist
It would be
just
like the paper
Oh,
bag.
it would be so bad.
And
it
then
would be so bad.
she kind of, if I remember correctly, her waist was a little big, but she had tied it with like a string, of course.
Oh,
or-
the shoestring. Yeah, that was popular for a while.
Yeah. So I was like, but mine would have to be so big. I don't think I could, like, it would be in that chunky fabric.
Oh, yeah,
It would be
no, it would not be
awful. So I was like, dang, it's so cute. These little Brooklyn girls wear those like big mom jeans or the big like Carhartt pants. I cannot. My nieces wear them too. And I got called on the carpet, like, whatever. When did skinny jeans come around? 10 years ago? Was skinny jeans 10-ish?
Yeah, probably.
My niece looks at me, and she was like a tween or younger at the time. And she's like, why do you have only boot cut? Yeah. I totally got called out by like an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old or something. I was like, that's terrifying. And I went out immediately and bought skinny jeans. But now it's mom jeans. I'm like, I have a couple like looser jeans.
Yeah.
But I just can't do it.
I text Catherine, who also works at the shop, all the time, and we always are like, what kind of pants should we be wearing? Like, I feel like
You know what you should be wearing?
What?
PSA. I have. if you guys want to reach out and do a collab, anybody, call me.
Right, call me.
Okay, I have 2 jeans that I love.
Okay.
Khloe Kardashian Good American jeans are
Really?
flipping amazing. I have probably 7 or 8 pairs. They're awesome. I love them. They're like super stretchy. They fit where they're supposed to fit. They're like loose where they're supposed to be loose. They're amazing.
Are they skinny?
All the things, all different kinds.
Okay.
I do
All
love
right.
their skinny jeans. They've got ones that are, if you're more like full, like through your legs, they have cuts for that. If you are more full through your waist, they have cuts for that. Like everything, there's a cut for everyone.
And where do you buy these jeans?
Nordstrom
Oh,
or their
okay.
website.
Okay.
Or the Rack has them a lot.
Oh, okay.
I know.
All right.
And they're like a higher end. So if you can
Okay.
get them on sale, buy them on sale. But they also have, and I haven't tried these yet, but they have like a sort of one size fits many option that is like a range of 4 to 6 sizes, one pair of jeans. So like if you're somebody who fluctuates, I feel like that would be a good option. They're probably a little jeggy knee, but they look like jeans. So I love those. Those are like my ride or die, great jeans. And then I have succumbed to the suggestion power of the internet, and Abercrombie Curve Love jeans are
Okay,
pretty
I've heard
great.
so many things about those lately.
Wearing them right now.
Okay, because I'm nervous because I don't trust the internet.
So
But I trust that now that
Yeah.
I've heard it in real life.
So I have a couple pair because I wasn't sure. I'm a little in between sizes. So I bought like some that were smaller, some that were bigger. The type of fabric really affects the fit.
Okay.
So like you do have to like do it when there's a sale so you can buy like 4 or 5 pairs that you're going to return 3 of.
Okay.
But I do really like them. I've had some misses in that too, because it is figuring out what's the fabric, what's the cut, what's like
Which
the
is true on almost
size,
any.
the combination.
Yeah.
Like I have these black, these are Citizen, and they're really thick.
Yes.
So they're super like,
Yep.
like they really, but like, so I could never
Yeah.
size down in these, and they're high waisted. But then there are some that are so stretchy. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, I
ugh.
have those ones.
Yeah, I forget which Citizen,
Yeah,
but they like come up high and
Yep.
they're really like,
Oh, that's
Contouring.
the other thing with Good American. Like they come up like to my boobs.
I
which is-
love that.
I've had 4 kids. I have a lot of things I'd like to tuck underneath
back
the high
in,
waist.
right?
Yes.
Tuck back into a high waist. Yeah, the high waist is kind of nice. It's super funny.
Yeah. When
But-
I was young and cool, like the 3-inch rise was where
Whoa.
it's at. Like I grew up in the Christina Aguilera dirty moment.
Oh, there you go.
So I now can really appreciate a good high rise.
A good high rise. Although when those like little tiny rises, I have a really long rise.
I'm so happy I was not a part of that.
Oh, I was. I had the stripes in my hair.
Oh my god.
Worked
Well,
out like a crazy person so I could wear those jeans.
I could never. I could never wear my rises really long, and I always had a booty, and so like I could never get them. So that I
Well,
wasn't
Frankie B
constantly
jeans were the ones because they
fiddling.
came up high in the back, but then they dipped low in the front.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Frankie B was the low rise for a girl with a butt.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I was busy fiddling with True Religion, and it just didn't work. I was
Yes,
like,
yeah.
this doesn't work. And of course, I had a friend, my friend who you met, Denise.
Yeah.
She could wear all of those, and she'd put them on because she's like almost 6 feet tall, blonde, leggy, can wear like when the low riders were in, she could, and then I'd stand next to her and feel super frumpy.
Yeah, everybody has that friend.
Yeah. And she's.
She
yeah.
probably even has that friend.
She
She's 7
probably
feet tall.
does. Yeah, damn it.
And platinum.
Oh my gosh. And she's moving here.
Yes, she is.
So yeah. But that means I get to like, enjoy
frumpy
her
every day.
I know. And enjoy her dog. So we'll finally have a shop dog. The shop dogs we always dreamed of. She has corgis. So we're very excited about that.
That's a perfect dog for you.
I know. They're little. They can't really run very fast. Yeah. And they're like, so we're very excited that we'll
Have
soon
you ever seen a
shop
corgi sit
dogs.
down? Or I mean, their legs are so short. Like, do they sit or do
They're
they
like
lay?
Dachshunds. I didn't realize.
They sit down.
They must, but I can't picture what it would look
I
like.
feel like they just like put their legs off to the side.
Yeah, like that, like frog sit. that
Yeah.
dogs do. Yeah. But then they're laying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they are. It is funny. I've seen pictures of them. They do sit.
Yeah.
But their backs are really long.
Yeah.
So they look like it's like if you were sitting on your elbows.
Okay.
It's kind of like that.
Like they're doing like that snake pose in
yeah.
yoga.
Yeah.
That's what
It
I
kind of
picture.
looks like that. And I did not realize that they were They were hold on, an Australian shepherd or some sort of shepherd that was bred with a dachshund.
Oh,
That's how they get the little shrimpy legs. That's why they kind of look like shepherds, but they have the little shrimpy legs and the little cute butts.
My mind's blown. How about yours?
I
know.
realize that.
I didn't either. I just found this out. That's because she does all things dogs. She used to have 2 Australian shepherds. So or maybe 3. I don't know. She's had a lot of dogs. So now she has the corgis, which are perfect for us. So announcement soon to have shop dogs, adopted shop dogs. We're very excited about this. They'll be our therapy dogs, which we're very excited about. So, I feel like there's so much more we could talk about with Dry Bar and everything else, but I don't want to take up your entire life at the Speakeasy. But you're back. So tell us your hours so we can log that.
We are always open. Our hours have changed a little bit due to the pandemic, but we have always been open 7 days a week. Pre-pandemic, we were 7 to 7. I think we'll get back to that, with the exception of Sundays. We do 9 to 5, but right now we're open. We're open 8 to 6 most days. At 9 to 5 in Birmingham on Sundays and 9 to 4 in Ann Arbor. I think that we'll probably get back to 7 p.m. before we get back to 7 a.m. because nobody's going to work. So you don't need to get in before work, really. Every time I'm in the shop in the mornings, I talk to my 8 o'clock customers and I'm like, would you be here at 7 if I had a spot at 7? And so far there's 2 that really want it. So 2 is not enough for me to change our hours.
No. Oh, no.
Well, I love those 2 clients. If they're listening, Lane, Jamie, I got you. We'll get there. Courtney, get there. I have 3. I'm lying. I have 3, but we'll get there. But
yeah. No, I totally get it. And I think it's all about we're all kind of figuring it out this summer and how we can engage. Yeah. We have been spending the past few days building what we like to call our Pride Float. We're building this booth. It'll probably be built by then. We're calling it like a photo booth or selfie booth.
I forget. We went through multiple.
We've had many. So it's a green wall on the outside, very cool. LA with Mylar on the inside. And you can go in and take all the selfies. Awesome. So we're building it. It's in the process right now. It's become this epic thing because of course I thought I got this old dressing room and I was going to convert it. And of course it went from a free thing to an expensive thing. Yeah. Overnight.
Why not?
Which the entire family had to get involved in.
And then of course, as soon as we actually started working on it, we had one nice day. And now, pretty much in the last 2 days, it's been raining and super windy.
So it's testing the booth on all levels. Now I'm thinking about, do I need to tarp it? I don't know. Yeah. So we're working on. Yeah, we'll see. It's one of those crazy things that we do this time, because people feel comfortable outdoors. We're trying to we're on a main street. Yeah. So are we going to get any events? So we found out. This is really cute. Our high school is doing their prom on Main Street.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that cute?
You better have that booth on Main Street.
Yeah. I'm saying we're going to roll it around front. So, and I know there's going to be an actual photo booth hired to take the prom pictures or whatever.
But they're going to take their selfies. Mm-hmm.
And then the goal is to have them downtown from 4 to 8.
Can we bring the couch outside?
I don't know how, getting that in and out of the door. We have this Union Jack couch.
Kids are going to spell on it.
I just am thinking Friends moments. With the couch by
They've never seen Friends.
I guarantee you they have binged Friends over quarantine.
True.
Fair enough. We'll talk about it. I don't know if it'll make it out. That's out the back door and around, not out the front door. That's a lot.
But it would be really cute.
It would make cute. So from 4 to 8, they're downtown, and then their parents can come join them. So it'll engage the restaurants, and the parents can be there. And then the decision was, would they go back to the football field and do something outdoors maybe? But they don't want them a DJ per se because they know no one will appropriately distance.
For sure.
Mean, heck, they don't we
even
know what
without
prom
a DJ,
looked like, right? Yeah. So they're debating how they want to handle it or if everyone just wants to stay downtown and then they activate downtown just more. So I'm kind of excited for that. So that's part of why we're building this float or booth or whatever we're calling it to engage because that's what we have to do now, right? To meet our clients wherever they're comfortable and however we can get to them, right? It's
totally.
one of those things. And we didn't even mention this. Do you do dry on the fly?
So we don't, simply because we've never been at a place where we have enough stylists to, like at our busiest, when we were really, really fully staffed, I've never really felt like we've had enough stylists that I can service people in our building and outside of it.
Yeah.
So like on occasion we'll do like pop-ups somewhere or, you know, like little things like that. But like if I was to offer like on-site weddings and that sort of thing, or like come to your house, like there's just like, I would have to have a whole nother team of people to service that. And like right now, you can't hire anybody. We are grossly understaffed, and it's been like all of our efforts are focused on hiring right now, and we're starting to get somewhere, but we still like I turn people away every day. I've had 4 or 5 clients reach out to me even just today. Like, I think my app is broken. There's no available appointments. Can you just fit me in? I'm like, that's not true. We just don't have any available appointments.
Yeah, it's crazy. And honestly, like weddings right now, I feel sorry for anybody getting married.
Yeah.
Because we've had a lot of people reach out to us. We're in the same position. They're like, can you do makeup applications for a wedding of 10? And we're like,
There's 2 of us.
yeah. You understand it takes, like with a blowout, it takes 45 minutes to an hour for a full makeup application. And we don't do hair.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, we don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So I feel sorry for the brides. I get it. But at
That
least
is the one
you
good
know,
thing, because we can bring them in.
You can bring them in.
So we can bring them in-house, and we do have the ability, like on a good day, I can get 10 people in and out in an hour and a half.
Okay, yeah.
So like that is helpful.
That
and
is
we have
helpful.
seen a ton of groups coming in.
That makes total sense. So that's good to know, because I think a lot of even the salons in our area, they're so overwhelmed with their regular clients. Like for cuts and color, you have to book almost your whole year in advance.
Yeah,
to
because
do
a
that.
lot
do
of
that
places
recently.
they don't take clients in between anymore. Like
No.
there's so many things, or if the space has to be like, if the chairs have to be spread out, that sort of thing, you can't see as many as you normally would.
Yeah.
We can comfortably take quite a few in a short amount of time.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think is nice to know, and for people to know that you can, because I think a lot of people are struggling with that, like some of these groups and brides and stuff. So I think that is a really wonderful thing for people to know. So
And like we're not necessarily the thing that people think of for
Right.
that stuff.
Yeah,
but
I get
it's
that.
absolutely one of the things that we do, and like we only style hair.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's where
That
our
is your
expertise
jam.
lies. Like that's what we do. So like we are the go-to for like not only your wedding, your bachelorette party, your bridal shower. Like we're open on Sundays.
Yeah.
Come in before your Sunday stuff. That's been really great.
Yeah.
Like we have our Sundays in Birmingham, like from the day we opened, like I never thought that Sundays would be
A busy
day.
Yeah.
It's one of our busier days because there's so many things on Sundays.
That's true.
Like, Chaldean weddings are on Sundays, and they have like 600 people apiece.
yeah, that's
So
true.
like we've always had really, really busy Sundays. Like our Sundays are as good as our Fridays and Saturdays. If we had full books, like we can do a great day on a Sunday.
Oh,
and
that's
nobody else
amazing.
is open.
Right.
And like Monday mornings, same thing. Like people want to get ready for their week. Like
Yeah.
salons aren't open on Mondays.
Yeah,
so
no.
it's been nice.
No, that's good. Well, I'm so glad. This has been so fun.
Yes.
And you have to come back.
Thanks for having me. I
This
will.
is so fun. We'd love to have you back anytime.
Well, thank you.
And once we get past all the nonsense, I feel like this
Yeah.
fall I feel like it's going to feel more like back to normal this fall, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think that people are going to be so ready to get back to doing all the things that
Yeah.
they've missed.
Yeah.
And even what we're finding too is right now, like people aren't going to like big events yet. They're not going to concerts. They're not going to big weddings. They're not doing all that stuff. But even the littlest things feel so much more special.
Yep.
So even like dinner with your husband or your neighbors, but at a restaurant
Yep.
instead of your backyard, you know, like all those things feel like a true occasion occasion. So like you're going to get a little bit more dressed up. You're going to go get your hair done. You're going to like really do like a full face of makeup to do something that before
100%.
maybe you would have put some mascara on for.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. No, I think it's great. So we super appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
On this rainy day.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, of course. And we will bring you back.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
I can
Sarah.
talk to you guys forever.
I know, it's so fun, right? Beauty, everything. All right. Well, thanks so much. And we will make sure you get the links and everything.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.